Hey guys, Derek here again, and for today's video I'm going to quickly show you guys how I took this rough sketch and turned it into this final painting. And before we get to it, I'm just going to quickly say that this was a painting that I created for Mukta, who was a winner of my Derek Draw Dulcinea Style Challenge, which was held on Instagram last month. I will link her Instagram page in the description. And anyway, let's get to this. So when I first started creating the sketch, right, I first wanted to put down the horizon line, which you can see, which was the flat line across over there, so that I know exactly around what eye level my characters are going to be in over here. And also her prompt was that she wanted to sort of an Indian restaurant where to put two characters in, two girls, one girl with who was a bit shorter with glasses, and another girl in a black hoodie, and the time was around 6 or 7 p.m. so this is what I had to work with. As you can see, when I make sketches, I'm keeping them really rough, really loose, but you guys can keep them however detailed you want, because I know exactly how much I need to take it forward into the painting. So I create the sketches on one layer, then I lessen the opacity, and I start as usual by painting things out from the back to the front. So here I painted the sky out first, then I thought, okay, I'll lay in the base colors, so I went with blocking the buildings. And regarding the brush I'm using, it's entirely made with a normal rectangular brush, so there's nothing fancy used over here. It's totally flat. It is it's just the default round brush, but in the shape of a rectangle. That's exactly it. So when it came to the colors, I totally went with the mood I was going for, as the prompt was that it was around 6 to 7 p.m. and here in Bangalore, that's when the sun has already set and the sky is going a bit dark. So I wanted the city outside to give it sort of a colder vibe and the background around them, and I wanted the table and them in focus to have sort of a warmer tone, because it creates that warmth and brings back sort of a nostalgic, moody tone. Also, her prompt was that they were supposed to be drinking lemon tea in this restaurant, so I also wanted to, that's why I wanted to bring about that warmth even more. So when it came to the colors, I kept them mostly in the same palette, which is the top quarter of the hue spectrum, which you can see on the right. And I started blocking the colors with flat shades, okay, just flat colors. And as you can see, if you look at my layers, they are on separate layers. Sometimes I paint everything on one layer, but here I thought I'll show you guys how I go about painting things on separate layers. So what I'm doing now is I'm not adding in any proper lighting as such, just the gist of it, where I know some areas they're going to be darker, some areas brighter. For example, the top of the table over here is going to be much lighter than the side of the table, which is going to be away from the light. But I'm not adding any light, like none of this is affected by the blue of the sky outside. I will add that in later. So I first want the base colors in first, then I start adding in the tones by using photo filters and color balance and hue and saturation adjustment layers, whichever works for you. There's no set rule or set method to go about it. So even when it came to the detailing, after I knew what the base colors were, I can always go back and add in more and more details to the wall, to the table, and like to the buildings outside, and slowly start building up the image where I feel like, okay, hey, I can add more details here, or this looks a bit too detailed, then I can lessen that, or if one place looks too bland, then I can add more details there. And also, I didn't really use any references for this, so I was mostly just eyeballing the colors as we see it. I knew that I'm going to have a top-down lighting over here. That is why I also kept a small shadow under the utensils, the cutlery that you can see on the table. And these are normal things that we find in Indian restaurants, you know, the 4 small vessels with the different pickles, a plate where you get onions and some lime on, and yeah. So now I started adding the lamp above where I wanted the main light source to come from. At this point, I wanted to add in the characters, so I created a white layer above the background colors that I painted, and I just lowered the opacity so that when I'm drawing in my characters, I can see them clearly, right? But I still get a gist of where the background is. Otherwise, if I were drawing directly on the dark background, I would goof up a bit. So this is just a small Not really a trick, it's just what I use to make sure that that is easier for me to draw the characters. Regarding the brush over here, for outlining I'm using the default pencil brush, which you should get in Photoshop, any version of recent Photoshops if you all are using. For the flat colors also over here, I'm not like, if you look on the right, the skin tone is actually sort of on the pinkish side, but also because this is how the colors of the skin would normally be in this type of a lighting, so I did have that ambient lighting in mind, and I also didn't go for a saturated brown or so, because in different lighting situations your skin color is different. So keeping that in mind, that's what I color the characters in accordingly, but you can always change the colors later by going to the color balance and switching up the values with whether it's the blue or the red or the yellow to get the required skin tone that you need. Okay, so now to get the mood in and the lighting, I used some photo filters to make it blue, and I also reduced the brightness of the image as a whole. I was struggling a little over here to get a good looking beam of light from the lamp above, and finally I just went with the lasso tool and filled it in blank. I tried the blend modes, but they didn't work for me, and also I started highlighting the characters and the objects on the table with some of the light that's coming from the lamp, so it kind of makes it feel like they are part of this image, and they sit well because they are being lit by this new light that I've added. This is why I like adding lighting at the last, because I already have the image below and then I can just light it accordingly. And that is how we finally have come to this ending, and this is the final painting. So this is a quick video. I thought I'll just walk you guys through my painting process, and yeah, I hope it helps you guys. Anyway, until the next video, thank you. And also I'm trying to upload a video every day, so let's see how that goes. Anyway, see you guys in the next one.